Tokyo was beautiful after midnight. The streets were still alive, glowing beneath thousands of neon signs, while the rain covered the city in a silver mist. From the top floor of Hayashi Corporation, Ren Hayashi watched the endless traffic below. At 32, Ren was one of Japan's youngest and most successful CEOs. His name appeared in business magazines, newspapers, and television interviews. He owned luxury cars, traveled by private jet, and lived in a mansion overlooking Tokyo. Yet every night, when the meetings ended and the building became quiet, he felt strangely alone. That evening, he left his office earlier than usual. He drove without a destination, letting the rain guide him through the city. Then, near a quiet neighborhood in Setagaya, he saw a young woman standing outside a small convenience store. She was struggling with several grocery bags. A strong gust of wind suddenly tore one bag from her hand. "Wait!" She chased it, but slipped on the wet pavement. Ren immediately stopped his car. He grabbed an umbrella and ran toward her. "Are you all right?" The girl looked up. She had wet black hair, tired eyes, and a small scratch on her hand. "I'm fine," she said. Ren looked at the groceries scattered around her. "You don't look fine," she smiled. "Maybe I'm just having a bad evening." Ren began picking up the groceries. The girl stared at his expensive suit. "You're rich, aren't you?" Ren looked at her in surprise. "Why would you ask that?" "Your watch." He glanced at it. "And your car." She pointed behind him. "And that car definitely costs more than my apartment." Ren laughed. It was the first genuine laugh he had heard from himself in weeks. "You judge people quickly." She smiled. "Maybe I'm good at it." He handed her the last grocery bag. "My name is Ren." She hesitated before answering. "Aiko, Aiko." He repeated her name quietly. For some reason, it sounded beautiful. "Thank you for helping me, Ren." "You're welcome." Aiko opened her umbrella. Then she looked back at him. "Don't catch a cold, rich man." Ren smiled. "Don't fall again, poor girl." She laughed. Then she disappeared into the rain. Ren stood there for several seconds. He didn't know why, but for the first time in years, he wanted to see a stranger again. 3 days later, he walked into a tiny cafe. He had never visited it before. The cafe was warm and peaceful, decorated with small plants and wooden tables. Soft Japanese music played quietly in the background. Then he heard a familiar voice. "Welcome." Ren looked up. Aiko stood behind the counter. Her eyes widened. "The rich man." Ren smiled. "The poor girl." She laughed. "You followed me." "I didn't." "Then why are you here?" "Coffee." "What kind?" "Black." Aiko stared at him. "Of course." She prepared the coffee and placed it in front of him. Ren took one sip. His face remained serious. Aiko noticed. "Is it bad?" "No." "You look like someone just told you your company lost 10 billion yen." Ren almost laughed. "It's good." "You don't look convinced." "I'm not used to cafe coffee." "Then why did you come here?" Ren looked directly into her eyes. "I don't know." Aiko smiled. "That's strange." He nodded. "It is." After that day, Ren started visiting the cafe every morning. He told himself it was because the coffee was convenient. But after a week, Aiko finally confronted him. "You don't even like coffee." Ren looked surprised. "How do you know?" "You always leave half of it." He looked at the cup. She was right. "Then why do you keep coming?" Ren was silent. Aiko leaned closer. "Do you like me?" His heart skipped. But before he could answer, a customer entered. Aiko turned away. "Welcome." Ren smiled to himself. He didn't answer the question. Not yet. Days became weeks. Their conversations became longer. Aiko told him about her life. She lived in a small apartment with her grandmother and worked 2 jobs because her grandmother needed expensive medicine. She dreamed of opening a flower shop. Ren told her almost nothing about himself. He never mentioned his company. He never told her about his mansion. He never told her that the ordinary man sitting across from her was actually one of the richest young businessmen in Tokyo. With Aiko, he didn't want to be a CEO. He simply wanted to be Ren. One evening, they walked together beneath the cherry blossoms. Petals floated through the air like pink snow. Aiko stopped beneath a tree. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Ren looked at the blossoms. "Yes." Aiko smiled. "You didn't even look at them." "I was looking at something more beautiful." She turned toward him. Their eyes met. For a moment, neither spoke. Aiko's cheeks became slightly red. "You're becoming dangerous." "Why?" "Because you say things that make my heart beat faster." Ren smiled. "Then maybe we're even." That night, Ren couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about her smile, about her voice, about the way she looked at the cherry blossoms. And he finally admitted something to himself. He was falling in love. But his peaceful world soon began to collapse. One afternoon, Aiko was delivering coffee to a nearby office. As she entered the lobby, she saw a giant photograph hanging on the wall. Her eyes froze. The man in the photograph was Ren. Underneath it were the words, "Ren Hayashi." President and CEO Aiko stared at the picture. Her hands trembled. Ren. Suddenly, everything made sense. The expensive watch, the car, the confidence, the mysterious phone calls, the way people sometimes bowed to him. That evening, Ren entered the cafe as usual, but Aiko didn't smile. He immediately noticed. "What happened?" She looked at him. "You're Ren Hayashi." He stopped. The silence between them became heavy. "Yes." "Why didn't you tell me? I wanted you to know me first. You should have trusted me." "I was afraid." "Afraid of what?" "That you'd see the CEO instead of me." Aiko looked away. "I don't care about your money." "I know. I don't care about your company." "I know. Then why did you hide it?" Ren stepped closer. "Because you're the first person I've met who didn't want anything from me." Aiko's expression softened. Ren continued. "When I'm with you, I don't have to be powerful. I don't have to make decisions. I don't have to pretend I'm happy." His voice became quieter. "I can just be myself." Aiko looked into his eyes. "And what am I to you?" Ren took a breath. "The person I think about when I wake up." Aiko's eyes filled with tears. "The person I want to see before I sleep." He reached for her hand. "And the person I don't want to lose." She didn't pull away. Instead, she whispered, "I love you too." Outside, rain began falling against the windows. Ren gently held her hand. For the first time, neither of them was afraid. But love between two people from completely different worlds was never going to be easy. Ren's father discovered their relationship. He was furious. "You will end this immediately." Ren stood calmly in front of him. "No. She has nothing. She has everything I never had." His father stared at him. "Money doesn't matter?" "Not to me anymore." "You will destroy the family name." Ren smiled sadly. "Then maybe the family name isn't worth protecting." His father threatened to remove him from the company. Ren didn't care. Meanwhile, Aiko heard everything. She knew Ren had spent his entire life building his company. She couldn't allow him to lose everything because of her. So she made the hardest decision of her life. She disappeared. Ren found her apartment empty. On the table was a letter. "Ren, I love you more than I know how to explain. That's why I'm leaving. I don't want you to lose your family, your company, or your future because of me. Please don't search for me." Ren read the letter twice. Then he ran. He searched every place they had visited together. The cafe, the park, the river, the street where they first met. Nothing. Finally, he remembered something. Aiko had once told him about a small seaside town where she spent her childhood. Ren drove there through the night. When he arrived, dawn was beginning to appear. He found her standing near the ocean. The wind moved through her hair. She turned around, her eyes filled with tears. Ren. He walked toward her. "Why did you leave?" Aiko cried. "Because I love you." "Then why did you leave me?" "Because I didn't want to destroy your life." Ren shook his head. "You are my life." She covered her face. "I'm scared." "So am I." He gently took her hands. "But I'm more afraid of a life without you." Aiko looked at him through tears. "What if your family never accepts me? Then we'll build our own family. What if people laugh at us? Let them. What if I can't fit into your world?" Ren smiled. "Then I'll leave that world and come to yours." Aiko finally smiled through her tears. The sun rose over the ocean. Ren wrapped his coat around her shoulders. "I love you, Aiko." She rested her head against his chest. "I love you too." Months later, Ren made a decision that shocked Japan's business community. He refused his father's conditions and became independent from the family business. Instead of living only for profit, he began investing in small businesses and community projects. Aiko finally opened the flower shop she had dreamed about since childhood. The shop was small. It had wooden walls, green plants, and flowers covering every window. Ren visited every morning. One day, he placed a small box on the counter. Aiko opened it. Inside was a simple ring. She looked at him. "Ren, I don't have a perfect life." He smiled. "And I don't promise you that everything will always be easy." He took her hand. "But I promise I'll stand beside you when life becomes difficult." Aiko's eyes filled with tears. "Will you stay with me? Until you get tired of me?" She laughed. "That might take forever." Ren smiled. "Good." He slipped the ring onto her finger. Outside the shop, cherry blossoms began falling again. The same flowers they had once watched together. The same city surrounded them. But everything had changed. Ren was no longer the lonely CEO staring down from a skyscraper. And Aiko was no longer the poor girl standing alone in the rain. They were simply two people who had found each other in a city of millions. Years later, whenever someone asked Ren what his greatest achievement was, he never mentioned his company. He never mentioned his wealth. He never talked about the awards hanging on his office walls. He simply smiled and said, "One rainy night in Tokyo, I stopped my car to help a stranger." Then he would look toward Aiko. And somehow, that stranger became my whole world. Outside their window, Tokyo glittered beneath the night sky. And somewhere in the distance, rain began to fall again. Just like the night they first met. Only this time, neither of them was alone. The end.